So you own a home in the UK and you want to make it look expensive without spending crazy money. My name is Neil and I've been designing, renovating and building homes in the UK since 2009. Now many of my clients are high net worth individuals with homes to match. Some of these properties are expensive because of their size or their location, but many of them have features you don't often see in more ordinary homes in the UK. If you own a regular home in the UK and you want to make it more impressive, this is the video for you. I've used my experience to make a list of things you can do that will make your home look expensive for less. I'm going to start with the cheapest idea and move on to the more complex and expensive ones. None of these ideas need planning permission, but some of them may require building regulations approval. There are chapters time-stamped below if you want to skip ahead. Let's get started. Limewash timber floors. Older properties in the UK have wooden floorboards. These are usually pine, but oak and other species are common. Traditionally, these boards would have been covered with a rug or carpet. Only high-quality timber boards would ever have been put on display, and even then, the timber would be stained or waxed because they never keep their original colour for long. In recent years, owners of older properties have started lime washing their timber floorboards. Now, doing this can really lift the mood in a room because it bounces more light up from the floor. But you don't need to own a 200-year-old property to have lime-washed floorboards. You can buy reclaimed pine boards. Some even have lime wash pre-applied. There are different levels of lime wash, from thin coats to really thick applications. It all depends on how much of the natural wood grain you want to see or how bright you want your floor to be. I suggest doing samples before you make the final decision. Some timber species have tannin, and that can react with the lime wash and ruin the effect. So if you're doing this yourself, you may need to bleach the boards before applying lime wash. And if you buy reclaimed boards, make sure the moisture content has been tested and is suitable for the substrate the boards will be laid on, because laying boards on concrete may require different moisture levels to laying the boards on a suspended floor void. Chunky skirting, base blocks and architraves. This is 144mm pencil round MDF skirting. It's the bog standard typical skirting and door surround that developers fit to homes in the UK. In fact, it's possible to get even smaller ones right down to 69mm, which is so skinny it's almost not worth bothering. If you want to give your home more presence, fit larger, chunkier timber skirting in the rooms and matching architraves around internal doors. One thing to keep in mind is that modern homes often don't leave much space between the door frame and adjacent walls at 90 degrees. This is why small, skinny architraves exist, to allow developers to push doors into tight corners. If your house has this issue, you should use base blocks at the bottom of the doors where the skirting meets the architrave. This separates the two mouldings and allows different thickness architraves to be used without an awkward junction with the skirting board. My top tip is to combine replacing the skirtings and laying new floorboards so the new skirting can sit on top of the new boards. Remember, never fit natural wood flooring tight to a wall because the boards will shrink and swell over time. You need to leave a gap. Wall panels. These were common in homes across the UK up until the early 20th century. They went out of fashion, but now they're starting to make a comeback. I've been saying it for a while. People are tired of looking at plasterboard walls. They want some features, and a wooden wall panel is warm to the touch, inviting, and adds a layer of detail into a room. You can go the traditional route with symmetrical patterns, what your granny would call a wainscot, or you can create statement pieces using interesting materials and patterns. A wainscot usually stops at about hand height, so you can touch it as you walk around the room, but you can also use panels right up to the ceiling and create feature walls. This can be combined with chunky skirting boards and lime wash floorboards to really lift a space. One thing to keep in mind if you are planning a full-height wall panel is that it may still need to have sheets of plasterboard behind it if it's on a party wall. Depending on the construction method of your home, if it's semi-detached or terraced, there needs to be fire resistance between neighbours, and wooden panels won't achieve that on its own. And if you are serious about upgrading your home, check out the sponsor of today's video. Sunflex UK design and manufacture high-quality aluminium windows and doors in the UK. I've used them on several of my own projects and I believe they offer a great balance between cost and quality. Don't just take my word for it though, check out these videos I made, which include the cost. There's a link up here and in the description below. Feature ceilings. Most homes in the UK have really boring ceilings. And just as with wall panels, some people are rebelling against the use of plasterboard by creating feature ceilings in their homes. I've created these dropped ceilings above kitchen islands to house feature lights and extractor fans, but some people take it to the next level. Going all in with custom mouldings only really works if your home has tall spaces, but for more regular sized homes, there are a couple of things you can do to spice up the ceiling. Exposing the rafters and joists is something I've been asked about during several recent consultations. It's an interesting idea, but presents a number of serious technical challenges, and I'm planning a video about it in the next week or so. If you can manage it, creating a vaulted space under the roof can add height and drama to an ordinary home. The cost of doing this will be high, but if that's too expensive, then another great way to make the ceiling into a feature is to carry the same finish from the wall across the ceiling. Whether it's wallpaper, tiles, or timber panels, this can really lift the space for minimum outlay. Indoor planting and living walls. The first items on my list of design ideas look expensive because they require materials and skilled labour to install, but once they're done, that's it. I've been in homes that are 200 years old, which still have their original skirting, floorboards and wall panels that could be described as fit and forget. If you really want to flex, you need to install something that requires time, not just money. Having a large number of potted plants in your home is a great way to do that, and the ultimate is to build a living wall indoors. The idea is that not only do you have the ability to buy expensive materials, but you have enough money to take the time to look after living plants. This really does need expert advice because the plant species must be carefully chosen and a living wall needs irrigation, a water supply and a drain. Depending on where the wall is located in your home, that might be just as complicated as fitting the plumbing for a new kitchen. But just look at this. For a day or two of a plumber's time, it screams luxury. These images come from paradisescapes.com, which has lots of info. It's worth checking out. I've put a link in the description. Built-in TV and fireplace. Love it or hate it, but for the last several decades, TVs have been the central focus of our living spaces. And prior to that, it was the fireplace, but central heating made fires redundant. Now, you could argue that smartphones will make TVs redundant in turn, but I don't see that happening. In fact, many of my clients make the TV a central focus of their living space, often with a feature fireplace in a built-in custom design surround. Recessing a TV into a wall isn't that difficult, but if you combine this with a fire, even a fake electric model, it can pose challenges. If you want an appliance that burns gas or solid fuel, then a chimney needs to be factored in, and the electrics in the TV must be kept safe from heat. I've done several of these, and they are not simple, but they certainly create a great focal point in a room. If you are considering creating a built-in TV and fireplace, take professional advice first. A fire will need a flue, carbon monoxide detector, and an air supply. The frame of the surround needs to be fire resistant, and the design must allow for access to maintain the appliances. Luxury bathrooms. This is the big one. Most people are familiar with the idea of conspicuous consumption, the idea of buying expensive things to show off the fact that you can afford expensive things. If you watch my TikTok channel, you know I can't stand shiny interiors because they are trying too hard.
Oh, it's so shiny. Oh, that's just wait one moment. Okay, that's much better. Now we can cope with the shininess.
Most of my clients are wealthy, but you wouldn't know it at first glance. They wear ordinary clothes, drive regular cars, and while their homes may be expensive, the really pricey interior fittings are often saved for the bathroom, especially the ensuite bathroom. This could be called inconspicuous consumption. The owner isn't trying to impress casual visitors to their home. The luxury behind the scenes is reserved for the owner and no one else. If you want to make your home feel expensive, create a spacious bathroom, ideally with a freestanding bath and a separate shower. Often these spaces are large enough to house a small bedroom, so it's not a choice most people can easily make. Now keep in mind, if you're creating a new bathroom in a room that isn't currently a bathroom, you will need building regulations approval. So if you are thinking about altering a home anywhere in the UK or buying a house that needs to be adapted to suit your needs, check out the reallifearchitecture.co.uk website. It's full of free guidance and blog posts packed with useful information for homeowners in the UK. You can also book a consultation with me if you need specific advice about your property. Please read the terms and conditions before you book. And if you found this video useful, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want to see more content like this, you should subscribe. I make new videos every week.